What's up, everybody? So today I got another video today, and it's going to be about the ability Cyclone and how we could all be using Cyclone better. It is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful CC in the game, and we need to be using it better, myself included. So I got two games here for you guys. Hopefully give you some tips and tricks about clone. Doesn't matter what spec you're playing, this clone applies to everything. Resto Druid, Feral Druid, Balance Druids. I'm playing Resto myself, and I'm gonna try to give you all examples of what's going on in my head on how to clone and how I could even be doing a little bit better. I got two games here for you today: a 3v3 game and a 2v2 game, where I could have done a little bit better. This game I think I did pretty dang well for my cloning. Just to preface this, cloning is going to vary very drastically depending on the comp you're playing. If you're playing a setup-based comp in i.e. like a mage comp, so I'm playing mage druid and mage druid windwalker, or playing with a hunter where you have a lot of traps. When you're playing one of those comps, you're going to be way more active on your cloning, where there's cloning, swapping clones continuously between all three targets. When you're playing more of a passive comp like a turbo cleave, warrior enhance or something like that, or a windwalker DK or something like that, your goal is more so clone the healer and then chill, maybe clone targets low. All right, but I want to give you an example with the mage druid game because it's a little more active and I can give you more examples. All right, so in our setups here, we're typically either I'm going for the healer, and hold on right here. I'm going for the healer for CC. He's going to clone the off target. So our goal right here was kill the hunter. So he's going to be going for potential sheep onto the windwalker, or I think we go him. Yeah, a potential CC on the windwalker, and then the monk's going to stun the kill target. So we try to triple CC: one clone, one poly, one stun. This is a side note here, guys. Okay, so in general, whenever you're facing a Resto Druid in stealth, you don't want to be hugging a pillar. Okay, so this guy's positioning here is exposing him to a guaranteed clone. You want to be in line of your teammates to help you. So he has a marksman hunter on his team. Okay, so this marksman hunter can kick me. Let's say this priest was over here, right? Just for the opener, just because I'm in stealth. If I get rake stunned, he could kick the clone. Okay, so but if he hugs the pillar, I'm gonna stun him, hug the pillar, chill on the other side, this other corner here, guaranteed clone, no kicks. Okay, I could have done this a little better. He actually almost got this. This hunter did a really good job trying to save it. As you can see here, he tries to actually disengage and hit me, but luckily my monk did a good job paralysing it. So I get the clone here. So in all of these setups, I'm going to be looking for two clones in a row. The third clone's kind of pushing it. Through the second clone, you have one of two options. If you get a lot of defensives out from your kill target, for example, we got Royal Sacrifice, we got Ray of Hope out. If you get Touch of Karma, you get Parry, you get IBF, like just these big defensive cooldowns. Oh, that's also referred to big healing cooldowns as well, like Iron Bark and or Guardian Spirit. You're gonna go from cloning the healer to cloning the kill target. If they don't have defensives left and you want to continue to go, your clone's gonna be on the third target. Okay, to help continue the go, and hopefully he would swap a poly over, and then we just continue doing damage. So in this case, we did get that. And just a side note here, so I did get the clone off onto the hunter. Ray of Hope, it's a holy priest ability. If you do see somebody running this, try to clone the end of it every time, unless it's blue. If it's blue, that means it's negative and it's going to hurt them. But if it's yellow, that means that the heal is at the end of this timer. It's going to be a big heal. So if you clone the end of it, it doesn't work. So his was positive. He snuck in a Serenity there after that clone on him, and he was able to pop it up and turn it positive. So I was able to clone it, and the heal doesn't work now. Okay, so in between these goes, right? It's going to be on my mage to get a poly, but the priest is on DR, so there's nothing really I can do. I'm just playing defense passively. I'm looking to clone the windwalker. I clone the windwalker on his big cooldowns. I'm waiting for this DR to end on the priest, okay? After that, ideally, I wanted to swap the clone. Unfortunately, they get a good in cap on the stop, and then a fear out. Is what it is, but if they didn't get that, I would have had a continued clone onto the healer without a trinket. We might have even just won the game right there. So in the meantime, I help out my team with some stuns. We do get a little bit of trouble here, but I think my mage gets a sheep here. So that was great. My mage gets a sheep. Now I'm looking to reposition and get a clone out of that. So during the clone, I try to clone the third target. Unfortunately, he kicks it. So now I'm looking at the healer. I get a stun on the healer, clone the healer off. I'm going to look for one more clone on the healer, and then I'm going to look to swap it, right? Same thing I just said before. So we get another clone here. So right here, we got Turtle. Ideally, I would want to clone the Windwalker here because we got a big defensive out of the Hunter. I can't clone the Hunter here. So my next option is clone the Windwalker. The Windwalker gets out of my space here, gets out of range, sorry. So now, in an ideal world, I'm going to try to clone out of this turtle. Unfortunately, he runs at me for a trap. He misses, luckily. But I wasn't able to get that clone because he was going to trap me. So game continues, just kind of doing a little stuff in the middle, get some heals out. So my mage gets another sheep. I go for the target. Okay, if I can't clone the healer, I'm cloning the DPS, the third guy, and we're going to be going that guy. So I stun him. I clone him out. After that clone, looking to swap on the healer. So I get to swap on the healer, and I think we end up just killing here. I know this happened pretty quickly, but the main gist of it is CC the healer, 2 clones if possible. Sometimes it's only gonna have time for 1 because you gotta heal, and then either swapping it to the kill target if you've got a lot of defensives out. If you didn't get a lot of defensives out and you want to continue the go, you clone the third target. All right, simple as that, and just rinse and repeat. Wait for DRs and do it all again. Also, another thing you could be doing to help you out is also trying to time stuns. Right, if you know, like let me give an example here. This time here, okay? Probably a little bit bad for him. Okay, actually, this one could work. All right, so in this example, let's say I didn't have a mage on my team because he got the poly here. As I'm behind a pillar here, we're pretty okay. I know clone DR is coming up in 4 seconds. I could look for a re-stealth because this is a great spot to get a clone. I can get a re-stealth, rake stun, walk back over there, so I'm out of line of the monk to peel, and then I get the free clone. So always looking for opportunities to... I actually was going to do that, but I think he got the poly, so I just using the stun on the monk. But just constantly swapping. Alright, and the second game I wanted to show you guys was a twos game. Okay, there's a twos game where I could have done it a little bit better. But I did clone decently well, but I could have cloned a lot better. So this game is with an Asarogue. So we're going to be doing lots of goes where kidney shot. I'm going to try to clone the healer when he kidneys. And then rinse and repeat. Whenever we run out of DRs on the healer, we swap it to the DPS, delay the game to the next kidney shot. This applies to a lot of classes. Any class that has goes, which is virtually every class. Okay, so ideal situation here. I got my double clone here. Okay, so this was greedy on my part. What I should have done here, this guy doesn't have trinket, he has damage up. I should have gotten away from this paladin because obviously he has Hodge to the start of the game. I should have kited this way, tried to go for a clone onto the DH. So this was kind of stupid going for another clone there because it was a third clone. Wasn't really worth it. So right now, I know I would ideally clone the. See, I actually started to cast a clone on the DH here, but I noticed I forgot that my rogue gets kidney up, so I don't want to be cloning him there. I want to let him kidney first and then go for the healer. If the healer is on clone DR, the only other option is stun. So again, ideal world, we want to stun within 3 seconds or so that we can get the clone off right off DR. So I think he gets a kidney here. Should get it in here. There we go, kidney. So he's not really in the best spot to clone. So he blinds, but it's kind of the same thing. I would have done the same exact thing. I didn't know he was blinding at that time, but I was gonna go for a stun into a clone. Regardless, we got the healer or trinket. Okay, so what I should have been doing here is instead of the second this guy trinketed, okay, or a second he got out of that stun. Honestly, let me go back just 2 seconds here. The second he trinketed that blind, I should have been going for the clone onto the DH. Because this comp specifically, everything matters in kidney shot. Outside of kidney, it's not super important. So I should have cloned him here. So I think he trinkets a half clone, right? That was kind of a rough trinket, but I should have been. I think I tried to get a resonator. That's what I tried to do. This should have been a clone. It was a trinket sack. That's a clone. You always want to try to clone the DPS on when you use the sacrifice. So this is a little mini meta. I had to get some hots up first, and then I want to try to clone the DH. Paladin starts running towards me. Unfortunate situation. I could have maybe tranked that though, but I don't think it was that important, to be honest. So I end up getting a re-stealth. Now we go for the healer again. Stun into clone. Gonna look for potentially 2 clones and then a swap. Okay, we get bubble and bop, so I got to go clone. Those are big defensives. So it's instead of double clone, I couldn't double clone the paladin, so he gets bubble and then I swap clone the healer. Okay, so this was. Oh, that was okay there. Okay, so we got swaps on clones. These are a lot of cooldowns here. Okay, so unfortunate situation here. We have meta up and wings up, so this is a bad situation for us, and they're both on clone DR. So right now I can't do much. I just gotta spam heal. I innervate, trying to spam heal it up. I'm watching the DRs. So he has kidneys coming up, so he's gonna be kidneying the DH soon. The DH pops Darkness. Darkness is a big defensive. It's not worth doing a lot of damage into it, so you might as well just clone it because he's gonna be able to heal more than DPS. I get a stun at the Paladin into a clone off, and then he gets a kidney. That's a perfect setup. This is what we want. That's what you would want every single time. So I got a little greedy here, not going for the second clone, but he did bop. Again, bop big defensive cooldown. Just clone it. Okay, delay the game until the next go. So everything's both on DR here, so I'm gonna ideally look for a re-stealth. If I can't, and I need to heal, it is what it is. But I can't get the re-stealth here, so I'm just hotting him up, getting ready to go for a clone. I'm waiting for his kidney shot here. He gets the kidney shot, I get the clone. Perfect situation. I throw on some damage when I can. I should be peeling out, going for the second clone. Absolutely, great job, Mark. After this, looking to be cloned the DPS. Unfortunately, he gets out of range, so I just go for a third clone. So ideal situation here, I should I go over push for a clone, which I do. Okay, so side note, Mark, you did better than I even thought now. So the reason I ran out here, this guy has Haja, so that's why I kited away. I went around the other side, ended up getting a clone from the other end. Okay, so we don't have kidney shot up, so I go for the clone, delay the game. Potentially go for a second clone. I gotta watch out for Hodge, so I go for the second clone. He gets out of range, unfortunately. So now that he did that, we know kidney shot's coming up soon. My goal is looking out for this healer now. I want to get a stun off on the healer. Okay, so he gets a blind, so I don't really have to worry about that. I throw a pretty crappy resonator. Actually, it wasn't bad. He tricketed. My bro gets a sap off. So at this point, I should be cloning the DH. So this was bad on my part, trying to go for a stun for some reason. That was really dumb. That was a really, really good spot to clone. Okay, because we got a big go onto the DH. The Paladin was in a clone, so he couldn't stop my cast. And the DH would pop blur and everything as well. Yeah, so again, big defensive, we want to clone it. So that would he trinket into blur. This guy's still in blind here. He ends up getting sapped off. This is and the DH falls off DR here. This should have been a perfect clone right there. But unfortunately, we didn't go for it. We went for the stun instead, which is pretty dumb. And now we just got to catch up. They're both the Paladins on clone DR, clone DR because it's blind. Ideal situation, we want to be looking to clone the DH next and just alternate. He gets the kidney shut off. I go for the clone here. Okay, so this is going to be a double clone into a swap. Just like always. Okay, we get ultimate sack here. So now I'm looking to clone the DH now. Looks like we don't get it, unfortunately. The Paladin trinkets, so we try to clone him. I know, Paladin used the Divine Favor there, so I was trying to clone the heal on it. This should have been a clone the DH here. Okay, so this is another spot I could have done it better. I could have cloned the DH there, delay the game until the next kidney. Okay, so I can't do anything here. He's on both stun and clone DR. So this was a bad stun. Let me go back here real quick. Okay, this was just very impatient on my end. So he's on both stun and clone DR. What I should have done here, I ended up going for meld stun. I probably could have maybe thrown either I could have just chilled here and just throw up some hots, or maybe throw in like a global on this guy. But I went for a DR meld stun into a DR clone. Not good. I just should have been patient, wait for this DR to fall off. It definitely wasn't worth it. It was like 2 seconds. Okay, so DH blurs. I go for clone on him. He kicks it, unfortunately. I go for the clone the healer now because it's DR'd. Throw some heals out. Try to go for the second one. If not, try to clone the DH. Doesn't look like I'm going to go for either. Probably should have cloned the DH here. He's got kidney shut up, so I'm just trying to get dots out. Use my remain onto him. This is going to be DR'd. I went for this regardless just because we got a lot of pressure even though it was DR'd. And we ended up getting the kill on that. Whew, damn, lots of talking. But anyway, guys, that is 2 good examples I think that hopefully you guys can learn from both my mistakes and the things I did well. So it's constantly cloning, man. Control the heckin' game. That's like one of the best abilities in the game is Cyclone. You could do so much stuff with that. You can control the entire pace of the game, both cloning offensives and defensives, and making the game go the way you want. And believe it or not, sometimes cloning is better than healing because you're preventing all damage instead of just healing through the damage, right? So if you have the opportunity to clone DPS, always take that option before you start spamming regrowths and like you burn all your mana. Like I know people ask me all the time, what do you do? I keep going, what do I do better? Sometimes it's cloning things that are doing damage, and you can prevent a lot of it, and you don't have to heal. If you don't have to heal, you don't use mana. Right? If you guys did have questions or you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.